Okay, now, if I did my algorithm here right, this division should work out. Okay? And I don't think it will, because I think I put the wrong sign on this x here. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that has to be x plus 1. Okay? Let's see. Okay, now, some people are not doing the division right. Many of you are. Okay, so pay careful attention if you're not doing long division correctly. Okay? But to get an x cubed, we're going to need an x squared here. So that x squared times x plus 1 gives me x cubed plus x squared. Now, just having x squared up here, because what we want is we want what we get up here multiplied by this to equal all of this, right? By having x squared, we get x cubed plus x squared. What's that leave? Well, we got to subtract x cubed plus x squared from this to see what's left. Well, what's left is going to be 4x squared, because I got to subtract whatever's here. Of course, x cubed subtracted from x cubed gives me 0, which is better because that's why we had the x squared there. Okay, then we got 4x squared plus 4x. And we need 4x, which is going to give me something that I don't want to have. So it means I messed something up when I did this. Okay, well that gives me 0, but then I get a -1 here. So I'm going to change the problem. Again, if that was a -1, I'd have a 6x squared there. And I'd have a 6x, which would give me a 6x, which subtracted from this still wouldn't work. How did I get that wrong? Okay. My algorithm was wrong, and I see why now. Should be -1 times d. Should be -10. It should be -1 here. Okay? I'm still going to get this. I'm still going to get the 4x squared plus 4x. Except it'll be -4x squared plus 4x. No, got it wrong. It's got to be -1, so it's -x. So it's going to be 6x squared plus 4x. And then 4x times, it's got to be 6x here, which will give me 6x squared plus 6x minus 6x, which will give me 10x minus 10, and it'll be plus 10. So what I was demonstrating about division was right. I was just dividing the wrong thing, because I left something out when I did it. It's okay? So you might make yourself a note that on number 17, you should work out yourself. It's got to be -1 times the d that you get here, because it won't work out otherwise. Okay? So anyhow, this division tells me that this equals this. Okay? So the zeros occur when x minus 1 equals 0, or x squared plus 6x plus 10 equals 0. Okay? That's two equations that we solve. How do you solve x minus 1 equals 0? What operation do you do to both sides of the equation?
Addition.
Sorry?
Addition. Addition.
Yeah, add what?
1.
I knew you knew that. You could say it. Okay. So you add 1 to both sides and you get x equals 1. How do you solve this equation? You ought to have an instant response.
Quadratic.
Sorry?
Quadratic?
Yeah, use quadratic form. It's a quadratic equation. You got to recognize that. Well, when you do, you end up with a negative under the discriminant. Well, the discriminant is negative. Discriminant's what's under that square root there. So really, you didn't necessarily have to write all this out. As he shown many times, try to kind of lock it in. First thing you do with a quadratic equation, check out the discriminant to see if it's positive or negative. If it's negative, you know there are no real solutions, and unless you're solving it for complex solutions, you don't need to go any further. And complex solutions don't give you zeros of real valued functions. Okay? So we say, not no solution, but no real solution. So you don't get any real zeros from this. Okay? Then, what do I ask you to do? Read the right problem. Well, that's it. But if I then ask you to go ahead and graph this thing, of course there are two ways to graph it. Well, no, there aren't. Okay. You could do the graph. I'll just draw the graph real easily. You only have a 0 at x equals 1. That's it. Far to the right, it goes up. Far to the left, it goes down. Okay? So what happens is, there's one other thing. The graph kind of overall looks like an x cubed graph. Okay? But the so-called vertex of that graph would not be here because that's only, you don't have a cube in that x minus 1, right? So it's not a horizontally shifted x minus 1 function. Okay? So it's going to look something like this. But you don't know exactly where it's going to do this thing that x cubed does, right? And you're not going to know because for that you want to have to use some calculus. Okay? There's no good way to figure that out without calculus. There are ways, they're just not good ways, and I don't really want to play that on you. Okay? Be kind of beyond the scope of the course. So, you could graph the thing, given this information. Okay.